Japanese writer Sato Mitsuhiro said, "All resentment arises from expectations of the other party. When we were young, we always thought that socializing was about exchanging sincerity for sincerity. It was not until we experienced the dangers of human nature and the collapse of trust that we realized that human feelings are as thin as paper. Only after experiencing the taste of being isolated and helpless can we recognize the cruelty of reality. No one can cover you, and no one can shelter you from the wind and rain. A person's awakening often starts with despair of all relationships." Writer Atlal Yangdamaltonel once told the story of reader Chinzi. Chinzi had a good friend. The two met in high school. After graduating from college, they went to different cities. Although the distance is far, the friendship along the way makes Chinzi always believe that friends are the most important people in the world. One spring festival, Chinzi heard that her friend was coming to see her and had been looking forward to this meeting. She made a lot of preparations for it. However, her friend kept delaying and did not leave until the Mid-Autumn Festival. Although Chinzi was unhappy, she was still very happy to think that she could finally meet him. She stayed up late to make a whole set of travel plans, imagining that the two of them would chat and talk about everything as usual. On the day of the meeting, Haruko repeatedly reminded her friend to pay attention to the local weather and personally cooked a large table of her specialty dishes. As a result, Kotoko waited for a day, but her friend was still late. She called and learned that her friend came with her colleagues, and the group had to go to karaoke after dinner, and they had no time to care about Kotoko. The next day, they met in a hurry, and Kotoko only chatted with her friend in the hotel for 20 minutes before watching her go to the next city. This experience made Kotoko feel mixed. She thought that her friend's arrival was a sign of her attention to herself, but she didn't expect that she was just a by the way on her friend's journey. She hoped that the two of them would still be as good as before, but she didn't expect that time would quietly change many things. Lao Yang finally concluded that it was very beautiful that you could appear in each other's lives like that. But you have to know that most gifts can only be important for a while. The relationship between people is originally seasonal. No matter how close you are at the time, you will eventually become each other's passers. Because under the torrent of time, everyone's life will be washed away. The life trajectories of the two people no longer intersect, and there is only silence when they look at each other. Yin Meng sighed in The Incredible Life. If you want to maintain a relationship, the less expectations, the better. If there are no expectations, you can love unconditionally. It is human nature to have expectations for people who are close to you, but unrealistic high expectations will only hurt others and yourself, and the gains will not outweigh the losses. The greatest sobriety of adults is to understand that no one can treat you consistently. If you have too high expectations for the relationship, the ending will only be disappointment. Self-media blogger at Nanfeng had an unforgettable experience. When he first joined the work, he was a typical good guy who responded to everyone's requests. Obviously, he had a lot of work, but when his colleagues asked for help, he agreed without saying a word. As a result, others went home early, but he often worked overtime until midnight. Sometimes it was not on the way home after get-off work, but his colleagues asked him to take it with them again and again, and he couldn't bear to refuse. As a result, he had to go around half of the city before reaching his destination. In the company, he always puts the needs of others first and lives like a spinning gyroscope. Once, in order to cover for a colleague, he even sacrificed his rare holiday to go home to visit his family. I thought that if I could do this, I would definitely be able to get along well with everyone. But over time, he found that his colleagues were only friendly on the surface, but they regarded it as free labor in their hearts. What he got in return for damaging his interests was not the respect of the other party, but their intensified exploitation and demands. After recognizing this, Nanfeng felt deeply sad. He took back his enthusiasm and stopped caring about his colleagues' trivial matters. Without interpersonal entanglements, he was also much more relaxed and had more energy to enjoy his life. Adult social interaction is often cruel and realistic. Only when you have been ignored by others can you feel the coldness of people's hearts. And only when you have been stabbed in the back can you recognize the fragility of relationships. Instead of revolving around others, you can't let go of your high expectations. Li Shuiqin once said in the program that she used to be a person who attached great importance to relationships. For a period of time, she loved to post on WeChat every day. She recorded in detail which dramas she had filmed and which variety shows she had recorded, hoping that her friends would like her posts. But she often waited for most of the day, only to find that no one cared. She was also sad and anxious, but after being disappointed, she realized that she had too high expectations and that others had no obligation to respond to her. After that, she closed her WeChat moments and no longer tried to seek recognition from her friends. Only after learning to bear her own emotions did she find the long-lost happiness and be able to make herself happy. Kai Kongyong said, Interpersonal relationships are used to fulfill yourself. No matter who you are in contact with, the relationship will never be as perfect as you imagine. It is tantamount to self-torture to expect others to meet your expectations and return you the same friendship. Always remember that the greatest achievement of a person's life is not to satisfy others, but to please yourself. Putting your own feelings at the top is the only way for you to gain happiness. Internet celebrity blogger Poppy Jung once ranked her life as herself, her partner, her children, and her parents. Many people think she is too selfish, but I think this is a rare joy. In this journey of life, no one can accompany you to the end station, and no one can bear your infinite expectations. After experiencing the ups and downs of human relationships, you will know that no one in this world can be relied on. You can only live transparently without relying on relationships. Kai Kong-yong once said in an interview that you should never put friendship at an incredible height. Some friends are people who bring you beautiful things at a certain stage. Enjoy each other instead of binding each other. In his view, friends are not the carriers of emotions, and they should not be too warm to each other. Keeping a coolness is a protection for yourself and a kindness to others. In a program, Shaois once complained about Kai Kong-yong, saying that he never answered his phone calls privately. Kai Kong-yong replied that sometimes it was too late and he had to go to bed, or he was busy with something and would choose not to answer. Not only is he indifferent to acquaintances, but Kai Kong-yong usually does not waste energy on irrelevant people. He has a habit of always carrying a book with him wherever he goes. When he doesn't want to chat, he takes out a book and reads it, and others will naturally not disturb him. If someone is not tactful and insists on coming over, he will politely say, "Sorry, I can't chat with you anymore. I want to finish reading the book." He seems to be pleasant, but under the gentle appearance, Kai Kong-yong is a cold and principled and worldly wise person. Not wasting time on irrelevant people and things is also Kai Kong-yong's philosophy of life that does not wrong himself or flatter others. Yi Shu said that life is only a few decades long, and the most important thing is to satisfy yourself, not to please others. The older you get, the more you understand that the essence of socializing is to get along comfortably. If you get along, you get along. If you don't get along, you break up. No one is worth your compromise. However, in real life, people always have too high expectations for relationships. Only when they have accumulated enough disappointments can they wake up and their hearts are chilled, and they can learn to be smart. Don't pin your inner desires on anyone, and don't show excessive enthusiasm to anyone. Please yourself more, please others less, manage expectations well, and you will never be hurt by anyone again. There is a sentence in 100 Years of Solitude. The essence of life is to live alone. Don't have too many expectations of others. In the adult world, it is normal for people to leave and the tea to be cold, and it is inevitable that things are different and people are different. It is also our rare luck to gain wisdom through the indifference of human nature. No matter who you meet in the future, I hope you can maintain a calm attitude. Demystify relationships. Be loyal to yourself. Even if no one is with you, you can live a brilliant life alone. Like and follow and encourage your friends.